This episode of Anatomy of a Fighter is presented by 8 Man Strong. Strong has many forms. Find yours.
What? From Santino de Franco. Probably the best guy I've ever rolled with. True. See what this is. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? Man, that is sick. Oh, shit. Wow. That is amazing. Amazing. That'd be perfect right there, right? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And this one actually, my little nephews actually kind of took this. This is the first time, if you can see, that's supposed to say August 19th. That was the first time that I fought Demetrius. And they pulled it out. They pulled it out and they put, you know, this is prior to me beginning, because I had a big X on them. Then we had, you know, this is rematch. We put April 23rd, which is the second time I was gonna fight him. No, I'm sorry. It was August 4th. I don't know why that's in there. I don't think we're probably debating, but a huge motivation for me right here, man. Like he's the one that put that chip on my shoulder. He's the one that made me drive faster. He's the one that made me take it to the extremes. You know, he's the one that I owe a lot of credit to, because, and I've been humbled. I've been humbled by him. I ain't believe in Demetrius Johnson until it happened to me. And then I get, you know, game recognizes game. It's true. And I recognize it. I says, hey, Demetrius Johnson is a real deal, but I still believe Henry Cejudo could do it. If I did it in the wrestling, the toughest sport in the world, there's no reason why I couldn't do it in the sport of mixed martial arts against the greatest mixed martial arts of all time, and Demetrius Johnson. I'm here about 3 times a week. Come out to reflect. It's almost like when you get older, man, you start to appreciate nature more. Like, it's not about that new fat watch or that new car. To me, it's become more of being connected to, like, Mother Nature, our backyard. It's a good way to kind of get away from fighting. Just look at the city. Look at the, you know, feel the sun, be on top of this giant rock. You know, to me that's priceless, dude. To me, you can't put a price tag on that. One leg. Look at that. This is how they treat the captain.
Nobody behind.
Whoa, this is our captain.
To the head coach.
You see?
Here we go.
This is how the life of Captain America, Captain Eric Alberts, and how he's treated. Oh man.
He brought the book.
He brought the book.
We don't have the sunset session without the UFC champ camp book of quotes.
Our coach used to pick us up, dude. He used to pick us up on his truck, dude. We used to offload like just a bunch of sardines in a truck. And he would bring us up here like every Sunday, bro. Like, we had no days off. 7 days a week. That's just how it was, dude. I am not even lying. Sunday runs, everything. And he would bring us to this mountain. We used to do it 2 times, not just once, but twice. Because he was always that type of coach, just challenging us. Like, hey, man, we gotta be different. We gotta do different.
I think Henry's one of the only ones that could switch. Well, what was it about Henry is that he was the youngest Olympic champion in history. So for him to switch over to MMA, that means he's already accomplished everything he set out to accomplish in a sport at a young age. And he's still young enough to start at the bottom of another sport, 0-0, and make it to the top. We always talk about Randy Couture. Randy Couture when he left wrestling, he left it on the low. He wasn't winning anymore, and that's why he retired. He was getting too old for the sport. Wrestling's a young man's sport. And then he went into the UFC and became a legend. Retired at the age of 48. So Henry, being the youngest Olympic gold medalist in history, going into MMA, that means he had time to develop his skills, time to develop his boxing, his kickboxing, his jiu-jitsu, and put it all together, because it takes time. As you see, it took 10 years. It took 10 years. Now, if he had started at 15, that 10 years, he'd have won it at 25. But he started at right after he won the Olympics. He retired from wrestling and decided to take another path, and it took 10 years to do it, and not just because he was young enough, it's because he had the mindset of a champion. He was the mindset of being able to overcome adversity, to not feel pressure and bring pressure. You know how much pressure there is being the youngest on the team. You know what? Henry wasn't even supposed to make the 2008 team. He was supposed to make the 2012 team. He was in Sports Illustrated saying he was the future, but they were all talking about 2012. They weren't talking about 2008. So when he made the team in 2008, having a performance of being 31st in the world the year before at the Worlds, there's pressure. There's pressure on the entire team, because there's never been an Olympics where there wasn't at least one Olympic gold medalist for America in wrestling. And in 2008, Henry was the only one that won it. So he thrives on pressure, and somebody like that can thrive on pressure, that comes from a hard-nosed background, didn't have an easy life growing up. You just put all that grit, you put all that drive he had, that drive that his coaches instilled in him, the success he had. The only thing he didn't have when he came into the MMA was that chip on his shoulder. And that first loss to DJ put that chip on his shoulder, and 2 years later, he took that chip off his shoulder, ate it, and sent Demetrius Johnson out of the pound-for-pound rankings and put himself in the legend status as the greatest combat athlete of all time.
I respect every opponent, man, because what he did to me the first time we fought, oh my God. It's very, as a fighter, it's very shameful to get stopped to the body. You know what I mean? Because you're conscious, man. You're still on your feet, and your body, your face, like everything is just like you just had enough, dude. Like, you know, I was happy for Big John McCarthy to get that dude off of me because he hurt me that bad into the body. You know what I mean? And it humbled me. It was like, dude, I'm not as good as I thought I was. It's time to travel the world. It's time to go out and get out of my comfort zone, you know? And that's what we did. That's what we did. Traveled the world, went out to Brazil, went out to Holland, went out to Singapore, went out to a bunch of different gyms here in the U.S. And it was like a Pokemon adventure. You know what I'm saying? A lot of time being away from home, a lot of traveling. You know, all for the grand prize to be the best in the world.
Story time. So I think some of the what I like about this is that some of these quotes in here actually came to fruition in the fight. So going there to kill and be willing to die to do it. I thought that's what happened when he almost blew out his ankle. He was willing to die. There was no giving up. Burn the ships. We all know what that means. Burn the ships means there is no going back, only going forward. Henry had the talent, but more importantly, he had the drive. It's something in him. No one taught him that. Henry was just always special since he was a kid. Angel Cejudo. That's a big one. Take the castle. Dr. Jim. The thing that set Henry apart was the drive gear. That gear inside of him where he would never give up. He always had to win every run, every scramble, every position. That's what Henry is about. Terry Brands. Breathe, be relaxed, be composed. BBC. So BBC is what we were saying to him when he hurt his ankle. That was our code word to breathe, be relaxed, composed. BBC, Henry. When I go to sleep at night, I'm a better martial artist than when I woke up in the morning. GSP. When I wake up, ask, how will I be a champion today? At night, ask yourself, how was I a champion today? Don't get psyched up, get psyched right. Better than be the best is always do your best and go get the effing belt.
January 19th, there's gonna be a second resurrection, and it's called the flyweight division, because that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it from 6 feet under to the pinnacle of the world. TJ Dillashaw, your time is up. Up.